We are recording this webinar live here at the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. It will be uploaded in its entirety, unedited, to our YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. Should you have missed this webinar or you would like to watch it or share it with someone, it will be available to you on the Greater Arlington Chamber YouTube page within the next 24 hours. So a few quick things to go over for rules that we sent all of our attendees today, all of our candidates. These are protocols designed to ensure a fair, informative, and professional candidate showcase that reflects the Chamber's mission. This is not a debate. They are not to address each other. Candidates are encouraged to speak directly to you, our chamber members, and residents of Arlington, small businesses of Arlington that are attending this morning or watching after the fact. Each candidate will have equal time to share their own views and showcase their individual perspective and priorities. Time limits will be strictly enforced. We have 14 candidates to get through today, and questions will be asked in a random order. All of our candidates today, almost like contestants, were sent their questions ahead of time. There are 5 questions for mayor and 4 questions for city council. They will be drawn in a random order. So you can see this one says council and it says 2, 1, 4, 3. That one might get selected. It might not. We'll find out. Then they will answer their questions. Each of them are given time to give an opening statement. Mayor will be given 2 minutes for their opening statement, and they have 4 things to cover in their opening statement. And city council will be given 1 minute, and they have 3 things to cover in their opening statement. We are going to proceed in the order in alphabetical order, starting with the mayor, and then we will go through the districts. So we will start with mayor, go through districts 3, 4, 5, then 8. And our goal is to be wrapped up within an hour and a half. So without further ado, our first candidate for mayor, everyone. We have 4 candidates for mayor, and our first one alphabetically by last name is Steve Cavender. So I'm going to see if Steve is on this webinar and get him promoted up to be a part of There we are. Hello, Steve. Steve, I'm going to promote you to panelist. Please accept my promotion. And that is a Zoom word, by the way. So as Steve gets settled in, turns his camera on, tests his microphone, this way, we do our webinar this way to ensure as many people can participate as possible, both watching virtually and for our candidates as well. They don't need to be gone from work for an hour and a half, etc. They can be here and present with us for the 7 to 8 minutes that we need their presence. So, Steve, I need you to turn on your camera, please.
Okay. It was supposed to be on, and there we go.
Well, hello, Steve Cavender. So, without further ado, everyone, this is our first candidate for mayor, Mr. Steve Cavender. Steve, I'm going to go ahead and set a timer, and you will have 2 minutes for your opening statement, and that will begin. Oh, wait, just for the audience, let me tell them what we asked the mayors to cover in their opening statement. We asked them to cover their civic, professional, or community experiences that have prepared them for mayor, how those experiences will inform your approach to the role, and why you are seeking the office, what your key priorities are for Arlington, and then specifically for mayors, how you view the mayor's role in leading the city, representing Arlington publicly, and advancing economic and community prosperity. I will not read that again, mayors. That's just the one time. And without further ado, Steve, I'm going to pass it to you, and your 2 minutes starts now.
Great. Thanks, Britton, and thanks to the Chamber of Commerce for having this candidate forum. People ask me where I learned my leadership from, and honestly, a lot of it came from raising $3 with my wife. That'll teach you patience, humility, negotiating skills, and when you're probably not going to win an argument, you stop. But it also teaches you to listen and do things the right way every day. Arlington has been my home for decades. I've spent my career as a business owner creating jobs. Today, I serve as president of the River Legacy Board of Directors, helping protect Arlington with one of its most natural resources. As a young man, I joined the United States Marine Reserves and the Army National Guard, where I learned discipline, accountability, and the importance of serving people bigger than yourself. These experiences shaped my lead, listening, bringing people together, and focusing on the people you serve. I'm running for mayor because Arlington deserves steady, responsible leadership and that protects the taxpayers, grows the economy, and keeps our city moving forward. The mayor's job is to bring people together to guide the future of our city. And just like raising three daughters with Anne, leadership is about listening, advising, solving problems, and doing the best you can to leave Arlington better than when you inherited it.
Okay, Steve, thank you so much for your opening statement. Now we are going to move to the question portion. So, Hunter, I see you raised your hand. When we get to you, you will go through your process. Do not worry. I am going to go back to so everyone can see both of us. So, Steve, I have this wonderful chamber coffee mug that I'm going to shake, 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 and you will receive your questions in this order. Okay. It says Mayor on the back because this is for Mayor. You have 5, 2, 1, 4, 3. Okay. So I'm going to set your timer. The mayors have 6 minutes for the question and answer portion. And we will get started. These 6 minutes does include me reading the questions, and anyone that knows me, I do read fast, so don't worry, it won't take up too much time. Without further ado, let's get that started. Your first question we said is 5. As mayor, you must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions where there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
Well, first of all, you can't tax yourself into prosperity. We can't just keep raising taxes every time we face a challenge. The real challenge is economic growth. As a businessman, when resources are limited, you focus on growing revenue, not just cutting or taxing more. That means that creating an environment where businesses grow, jobs are created, and tourism continues to expand in Arlington. That growth brings the revenue we need to invest in the things our residents care about most, which are neighborhood, public safety, and infrastructure. So when balancing priorities as mayor, my approach will be to grow the economy responsibly, manage tax dollars wisely, and ensure the benefits of the growth go back to and strengthen the community.
Thank you so much for that answer. We are going to move to question 2, which you have next. Small businesses fuel job creation and community identity. How would you work to ensure Arlington remains a city where small businesses can start, grow, and succeed?
Small businesses drive our economy. In fact, over 85% of new job growth comes from small businesses that we must not ignore, especially our local business here in Arlington. In 2020, I helped pass the development tax, or economic development tax, that voters wanted those funds used to support business growth. As mayor, I will be sure that those funds are used to help businesses expand and succeed. And from a business perspective, it's not smart to put most of our economic money into one company. Good business means diversifying investments. I'll also work to fix our permitting process because it takes a long time to get approved. Businesses will simply go away and go somewhere else. Arlington has to be the city that welcomes businesses, not slows it down.
Thank you for that answer, Steve. Your next question is question 1. Fostering economic prosperity is paramount to Arlington's future. As mayor, how would you approach economic development to ensure growth that benefits residents, businesses, and the long-term vitality of our city?
Economic development should be approached the same way a businessman runs his company, with discipline, smart investments, and accountability. You don't gamble your money on risky ideas, and we shouldn't gamble taxpayer dollars either. My focus would be attracting and supporting businesses that have a proven track record, create quality jobs, and strengthen Arlington's long-term economy. At the same time, we need to do a better job supporting our small and local businesses. They are actually the backbone of this community. When we invest our dollars, it should be strategic, transparent, with clear benefits for the residents, not just some headline or a ribbon-cutting ceremony. If we manage our city with the same common sense approach that successful businesses use, invest wisely, support growth, and demand results, we can build an Arlington that's stronger, more competitive, and full of opportunity for the next generation.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, moving to question number 4. Arlington is nationally and internationally visible, hosting major events and welcoming dignitaries from around the world. How would you approach these relationships to advance Arlington economic and community goals?
As a businessman, I look at major events that we have with business opportunities. You make community get full value from them. Arlington hosts some of the biggest events in the country that gives us tremendous national exposure, but we need to make sure Arlington actually gets the credit. Too often people watch an event and think they're over in Dallas. When Arlington hosts an event, it should be clearly promoted as Arlington, Texas. Those relationships with leagues, event organizers, and international visitors should be used to bring more investments and tourism and more opportunities for our local businesses. My goal would be simple. When the world comes here, they know they're in Arlington, and our residents and businesses see the economic benefit.
Thank you for that answer. And now for your last question, Steve. Number 3, the mayor works with city council, city staff, community stakeholders, and residents to address complex challenges. How would you approach building consensus and bringing people together to move Arlington forward when there are differing perspectives?
In my 40 years of business, the one thing I've learned is you don't accomplish anything up by yourself. The way you get things done is bring people together at the table, listen to different perspectives, and find common ground. That's exactly the approach I'll take as mayor. Arlington's best solution will come from city staff, businesses, residents working together, not against each other. In business, I've had to work with people that don't agree with me, but we found ways to form goals and solutions that moved everything forward. As mayor, my role will be to bring people together, keep the focus on Arlington's future, and build a consensus so that we can make real progress in our community.
Steve, you have 14 seconds left. Is there anything you would like to say?
No, again, Britton, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate you being here. Again, Steve Cavender is running for mayor of Arlington. Steve, I'm going to send you back down to the attendee pool. You were first. You don't have to stress anymore. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you.
And my timer is going off. Woo! Okay, so I am going to find a way to make this work. Like I said, we do this very organically to make sure everyone knows that we got all the different things going on. I would like to tell everyone watching today that we do not enable the candidates to test their cameras or their audio ahead of time, so sometimes there are some things that go on. It's just the nature of the webinar format. So next up, our second mayoral candidate on the list is Hunter Crowe. So Hunter, if you are here, I know you are, I will go find you on the list and I will promote you up to panelist. So Hunter, please make sure you accept my request to promote you up so that everyone can see you and hear your opening statement and answer to our questions. And thank you again to everyone that's still joining us. We're incredibly excited that you're here. This is the Greater Arlington Chamber Candidate Forum for Arlington Mayor and City Council for the year of 2026. The election is on May 2nd. Please make sure you are registered to vote. We would love to see as many people vote as possible because that is our right here as American citizens. Hunter, good morning. Let's test that audio and make sure you're good to go.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. Okay, Hunter, so you heard the criteria for the opening statement. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes and you may begin at your leisure.
My name is Hunter Crowe. I am a law librarian, specifically at the University of North Texas, the graduate students. So I'm basically running for this position because there's a lot of transferable skills that could be applied to the mayoral office, specifically the technological aspect back to my background, such as legal informatics, for example. I have extensive research in that area. It's a prior history major. One of my visions for Arlington in particular is to make sure that our technology in City Hall is current and up-to-date, including ensuring that that the city is able to navigate all of its policies with ease. But I also, want a city that works for everyone and not just, sidism that we have been getting in local government as of late. And also, there's also a lack of the diversity on City Hall. If I'm elected as mayor, I'll presumably be one of the youngest members on the city council.
Hunter, I'm so sorry I have to interrupt. That is your 2 minutes. So we are going to move into the question portion. So I'm going to pick up this mug like last time, shake it up, and see what order you get your questions in. And you have received 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Okay, Hunter. So I will set this timer to 6 minutes, and I will begin with your first question. You ready?
Mhm.
Okay, Hunter. First question is number 4. Arlington is nationally and internationally visible, hosting major events and welcoming dignitaries from around the world. How would you approach these relationships to advance Arlington's economic and community goals?
Well, for starters, my experience in this area is a little bit different than the other candidates. In my capacity as a librarian, I had to do all sorts of organizational and outreach with the community within the UNT system. So we had to, we had to have a very good, we had to have a good standing with the community, not only the campus community, but the general public as well. I want to, apply the same principles as my professional work into this particular issue by creating an environment where everyone feels that they're welcome and not, pushed aside, since this has a lot to do with public relations, so to speak. As far as, tourism in the city goes, as you probably know, extensive amount of money has been poured in the World Cup. My concern is that when international travelers come into the city, I'm concerned that they might not be able to commute on around the city due to the lack of being able to obtain licensure for driving and all that, since they're not permanent residents in the city, obviously, and not U.S. citizens. However, this is also an issue for local residents as well. Not everyone in the city has the ability to drive, so I am for establishing mass transit to make sure that whenever we host these events, and people will be able to travel at ease. And unfortunately, transportation is something the city's lacking apart from its current privatized state, such as the BIA and all that. Arlington hasn't had public transportation since the 1940s, I believe, when the city decided to expand its turbo train,
Okay, thank you so much for your answer,
Yeah,
Hunter. I'm going to go to your next question. You only have about 2.5 minutes left. So,
okay.
question 5 is, as mayor, you must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
Right, that's a good question. For starters, in these sort of situations, it's very important not to be biased. All of this needs to be obviously appropriately researched and not it can't be done rashly or taken lightly. And ironically, this is something that even actual experienced economics have trouble with. For example, if we were to put in the wrong, formula into these things, the whole thing could, go kaput. So one of the things I will be looking for is my decisions will be based on effect, um, effective research and science-based research and all that, and ensure that decisions in these areas are taken on based on fact and not on, rationality.
Thank you so much for that answer, Hunter. We are going to move to your third question, and you have question 1, and you just have about 1 minute to answer it. Fostering economic prosperity is paramount to Arlington's future. As mayor, how would you approach economic development to ensure growth that benefits both residents, businesses, and the long-term vitality of our city?
Right. So for starters, I think the city has done rather well as far as the entertainment district, as we have invested heavily on the amount of entertainment ventures in the city, attracting tourism and commerce. Obviously, but the other parts of the city, unfortunately, did not have that luxury. Like in the area that of the city I'm in, it's pretty much all running down due to the extensive amount of, construction. So if any, improvement, um, so if any improvement,
I am so sorry, Hunter. That is your time. That is your 6 minutes.
okay.
However, we greatly appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you so much, everyone. This is Hunter Crowe, and he is running for mayor of Arlington. Hunter, I'm going to send you back down to the attendee pool. We hope you have an amazing day. Okay, everyone, our next candidate is Shaun Mallory. However, I have not seen him join, and I had not heard from him in terms of if he would be participating in the forum. So I'm gonna look one more time. Or Shaun, if you're here under a different name, please raise your hand. Um, Shaun is our third candidate of 4 for the mayor. Going once. I'm not seeing you, Shaun. Going twice. Again, he did not confirm he was attending. I just wanted to give him the opportunity should he be here. Okay, then we are going to move to our fourth candidate for mayor, alphabetically by last name. Jim Ross, you are next on the list, so let me find you on this lovely list of people. It is great to see so many wonderful names on this list. Thank you to so many of you who are joining us today. Jim, I have promoted you up to panelist. So when you are back on, Jim is again one of the 4 candidates running for mayor. And thank you again for joining us for the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum for Arlington Mayor and City Council. And good morning, Jim. How's your audio?
I think I'm good. Good
You
morning to you.
are great. Your audio is great. Okay, Jim, let me pull up those questions and you get to start. Again, I'm not going to read what the opening statement should include, but I am starting your timer for 2 minutes. Speak freely.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here to the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. I am Jim Ross. I am the current mayor here in Arlington and have been for about 5 years now. To talk about my civic accomplishments and participation in professional organizations, I only get 2 minutes. But I have been on all kinds of boards, including the board here at the Chamber of Commerce. I serve as a trustee, which is one of the top 13 positions with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And I'm in a leadership position nationally. I'm also the chair of the Veteran Affairs Task Force for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I serve as a board of director for the National Medal of Honor Museum and Medical City Arlington. I've been involved in numerous charity organizations, numerous boards and associations here as mayor, including the Regional Transportation Council, Tarrant County Transportation Coalition. It could go on and on and on, but I'm going to leave it at that so we can get into some questions.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jim. I am going to hit pause on that, and we are going to move to your questions. So you know the drill. Let me shake up this lovely mug and see what order you get your questions in, sir. They are, you have 2, 4, 1, 3, 5. Okay, I know that's very meaningful to everyone that they have to memorize this arbitrary order. So let me get your timer started. You did have 46 seconds left in your opening statement, so we will give that back to you at the end should you choose to give a closing statement.
Perfect.
Okay, so I am going to start a new timer for 6 minutes. And let's get started with your first question. So, question number 2, small businesses fuel job creation and community identity. How would you work to ensure Arlington remains a city where small businesses can grow, start, and succeed?
Well, small businesses certainly are the backbone of our business community here. They are responsible for tremendous economic growth, but also they work well with larger businesses. So when we bring large businesses, the small businesses feed them. It's sort of a ripple effect that goes on. I am a small business owner. I have a law firm and a couple of restaurants. One of the ways that we work well with them is, for instance, here in Arlington alone, we had a need to have a restaurant alliance. So we went to the chamber, me and other restaurant owners, and said, hey, how about creating a restaurant alliance within the chamber here? And that's exactly what we were able to do. That gives us an opportunity to work together because in Arlington, that's really what we do best is to work together, not have such a competitive attitude, but to see how we can benefit from one another. So we'll continue that type of dialogue with our small businesses here in Arlington.
Well, thank you so much for that answer. We are going to move to question number 4. Arlington is nationally and internationally visible, hosting major events and welcoming dignitaries from around the world. How would you approach these relationships to advance Arlington's economic and community goals?
That is a critically important question. Arlington is on the international stage. We are no longer on a regional stage, a state stage, or a national stage. All eyes from around the country are looking at us. When I first became mayor, Arlington had one sister city relationship. They had that sister city relationship for 73 years, but it was with a small town in Germany. Wonderful town. Love the people there. But we needed to expand those relationships internationally. Currently, we have revamped our entire sister city organization, and we stand now with 5 memorandums of understandings to develop further sister city relationships. That type of relationship building has created an opportunity, for instance, to here in Arlington, we are going to be hosting the next 3 years of the Texas Japan Economic Summit, which brings businesses from Japan, from all over the United States, here to Arlington, Texas, to talk about what type of job creation we can do here collaboratively with our friends in Japan. I recently had the opportunity to travel to Osaka and Tokyo and met with the U.S. Japan Council while I was in Tokyo and talked specifically about what's going on here in Arlington. They're very excited about coming here and taking advantage of the tremendous business opportunities in Texas.
Thank you so much for that answer. We are going to move to your third question, which is number one. Fostering economic prosperity is paramount to Arlington's future. As mayor, how would you approach economic development to ensure to ensure growth that benefits residents, businesses, and the long-term vitality of our city?
You know, when I first became mayor 5 years ago, I said that if we want a thriving Arlington, we have to have job development. Job development means economic growth. I'm happy to report that after 5 years, we have created nearly 30,000 new jobs here in Arlington. We've brought 13 new North American and world headquarters to this city, and we've increased the average wage in Arlington by more than 20%. Those are incredible statistics. The facts don't lie. We have been on fire as a city from an economic development perspective, and we do it with a three-legged stool. We include our Economic Development Corporation, our Office of Economic Development, which is within the city itself, and our Department for Strategic Planning. They work collaboratively and strategically to make sure that we're able to incentivize and encourage other businesses to come here in Arlington. Your mic's off, Britton.
I know, I'll give you back those 2 seconds. They're doing lawn work across the street, and I'm
Oh,
afraid you guys can hear it. So going to your next question, which is number three. The mayor works with city council, city staff, community stakeholders, and residents to address complex challenges. How would you approach building consensus and bringing people together to move Arlington forward when there are differing perspectives?
Arlington is the most diverse city in the state of Texas, and a couple of weeks ago, we became the third most diverse city in the country. That diversity lends itself to many, many, many different perspectives. Those perspectives that are different do not make us weaker, they make us stronger. It is incumbent upon us as leaders in this city to make sure that we take full advantage of the different perspectives. We've done that here in Arlington. I've created 13 advisory councils of people who believe and look and come from different cultures than I do, so that I can meet with them weekly to make sure that I'm understanding their perspective. In the city council, we recently had a really tough issue with our anti-discrimination ordinance and ensuring that we satisfied the federal requirements that were out there, but address the needs of the community. We weren't able to get a consensus by re-implementing the existing ordinance, so we worked collaboratively to move on and come up with a compromise. I saw that camera, so I'm just shutting up.
Okay, so that was the end of your time, so we will not ask the last question. However, you do have a remaining 47 seconds from your opening statement if there is something you'd like to say.
Yeah, thank you for that. You know, here's the reality. The facts don't lie. Economically, Arlington is thriving. Wallet Hub held Arlington to be the best run city in all of North Texas. We are the second safest city here in Arlington. That is because we put a focus on working with our public safety. We have to keep things going. This is not the time to change horses and get in a whole nother direction. We need to keep going in the way we're going now. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate you being here. And I'm going to send you back down to the attendee pool so you can continue to watch should you like to do that. We appreciate all the three mayor candidates being here today with us. As a reminder, we had three of the candidates. We had Steve Cavender, Hunter Crowe, and Jim Ross, who are all running for mayor. We are next going to move to our city council races. So city council, again, we are going to do that in the order of district, starting numerically with lowest moving to the highest. So we are going to start with District 3. So our first one alphabetically is Kelly Burke. So I'm going to go looking for Kelly Burke and see if I can find Kelly. I went the wrong direction, scrolling. Ah, Kelly. There are two Kellys. So Kelly, you accidentally gave your link to another person. So I am going to hope I promote the right one. If not, we will figure it out when we get there. So more, I'm going to promote Kelly 1 and hope for the best. And if it's the wrong Kelly, I apologize. We will go to the other one. It's the right one, I think. Kelly.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we've got your
All
audio,
right, all
Kelly.
right.
Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to rock and roll. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so really quickly for everyone here, the city council candidates have 1 minute for their opening statement. I'm just going to read those rules right now, Kelly, and then we won't read it again for everyone else, but this does not count against your time. So they
Okay.
have been asked to do the first three things that were in the mayor's list, which is address in 1 minute what civic, professional, and community experience they have to prepare them to serve on council, how those experiences inform their approach to the role, why they are seeking the office, and what are their key priorities for Arlington or their specific district. So District 3 is not an at-large district. It is a specific district within the city of Arlington. So with that said, Kelly, I am going to get this timer underway for you with 1 whole minute. And when you are ready, feel free to begin speaking.
Okay, so in the past, I've served on the board for Alliance for Children. I served on that board for 3 years. My background is in the church, so I spent most of my time in ministry. Licensed as a minister in 2005. Served with pastoral council since then. Pastored for a few years until COVID shut us down. My business, which would also tie into this, is I'm in fitness, so gym owner as well as childcare. My wife and I own Miss Burke's Christian Academy and Burke's Christian Academy. So I've been serving children. I've been serving in education. I'm directly connected to the community because I deal with so many parents and kids through that. Everything I've done has been centered around serving the community. I'm passionate about the city and people. And I believe that desiring the office of leadership is a good thing. With a person that has ideas and dreams and goals and visions of how a city should run and sitting back and complaining, saying they could do a better job, the best way to do that is actually to run. So if you want to be changed, you have to be a part of that change. And I believe that that's why I'm running. My three top priorities. Number one would be to focus on the crime rate
I'm
in
so sorry,
District 3.
Kelly. That is your
Okay.
time. However, you can work your priorities into the questions, I'm sure. The
Yes,
questions are
ma'am.
very broad ranging. Okay, so same deal with City Council. You get yours in a fun order. Let's
Okay.
see which one you have received. So Kelly has, oh my gosh, what are the chances? One, two, three, four. There are
That
10
makes it
options in
easier.
there. So what are the chances? So that's pretty
Uh,
easy. Okay, Kelly. So I am going to set this timer for 5 minutes and we will get started with very easy for me to remember. One, two, three, four. Your first
okay.
question. Economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community as a whole?
Well, let me just say I would support any policy with my vote that doesn't affect taxpayer dollars. That's my thing. I want to save people money and always have a direct benefit for the citizens of Arlington, Texas. So if anything would affect the citizens with more money, and that is coming down the pipeline, number one, I would educate the citizens on what's coming. It takes a lot of studying, a lot of time to put into what we're voting on. And so I would educate the people that this is what's coming up. This is going to cost you guys more taxpayer dollars. Please let me hear your voice on this and how this would affect your money and what you're spending your money on. Do you want this? And if not, I'm going to vote the way my constituents want me to vote.
Thank you for that answer, Kelly. We are going to move to question 2. Small businesses are a cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses, and what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Thank you. Well, I would say for me personally, I would always ensure that local businesses have the help into growing, because that's the main thing that you want to do as a local business is grow, and understanding the climate and navigating this economy through being a business right now, because things are a little rocky and confusing right now. We don't know what things are going to look like. So I also want to make sure that people have the proper resources that are available through the city, and that they're available to them, educating them on this is what you need to have to grow your business, to expand your business, or what your needs are as a business. So my main focus would be on small business. I'm a small business owner myself. I'm sitting in my business right now. And so I think some of the loopholes that we go through in starting a business would also need to be addressed in that as well.
Thank you for that answer, Kelly. Okay, we are going to number 3. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people around solutions?
Great question. Number one, by meeting with every party that you just listed, and explaining to my constituents and educating them that all the parties are involved in this and there's a lot of parts moving. People need to know directly what's going on and be directly connected to the city. I think some people feel like they are not part of the city or not part of the decisions that are being made. And so if I'm elected, that'll be my main focus, is to educate people on this is what's coming down the pipeline. This is how you're directly involved in it. And I want to make sure that I'm bringing the bridge and making that gap connected so that people understand exactly what's happening coming down from every department head. So it's just about educating people on what's happening and connecting the dots so that we're all one and people don't feel like they're on the outside before any decision is made.
Thank you for that answer, Kelly. We are going to go to your last question, question number 4. City Council must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when these multiple important priorities are combined, but you have limited resources?
Yes, ma'am. Again, the citizens come first. When making a decision, my first priority would be considering how would this affect taxpayers' dollars in my district, number one, and the people in it. How would this affect them? And number two, Arlington as a whole. So I would always be focused on how would this affect my district? Again, so if it's going to affect my district in a negative way, then people need to know. And my vote would always be to save people money. That's the main thing. So it's so many things that'll be going on, and so many different issues that would come down the pipeline. But the main thing I would want to do is to make sure that my citizens come first, because that's my top priority. So when it comes to balancing priorities, my people in my district would be the first priority for me personally.
Okay, Kelly, well, you have 1 minute left if you would like to discuss your key priorities from earlier.
Great. Thank you so much. My top priority will be crime, focusing on the crime rate in District 3, and partnering, because I think our police department is doing a great job, but directly partnering with our neighborhoods and leaders in the community to help bring down the crime rate even more, focusing on directly at neighborhoods and what the specific need is for each neighborhood to make sure that people feel safe. If people feel safe, they're going to want to invest back into the community with home ownership. And I want people to be able to invest back into the community so that we can see our neighborhoods thrive again, especially in my district, in District 3. I want people to buy homes. Number two, taxes. I want people to save money. So I do not want your taxes to be raised. I want to always vote in order so that you are saving money on your taxes, because I live here too. So I want my tax dollars to be saved as well. And number three, the support of small business on anything that they need in order to ensure their success for the future of Arlington, Texas. If our small businesses are thriving and are successful, they're the backbone of our community, and we're going to thrive as a city.
Well, thank you so much for your answers, Kelly. We appreciate you being here today. That
Yes,
is
ma'am.
your time. So thank you again. Kelly is running for City Council District 3. There are 2 candidates on the ballot. Thank you so much, Kelly. We hope you have
Thank
an
you.
amazing day.
Yes, ma'am. God bless.
Okay, so as I said, there are 2 candidates on the ballot for District 3. So we are going to bring up our next candidate, who is Nikki Hunter. Nikki Hunter is also running in this race, so let me find her and get her promoted to panelist. So again, this is the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum for Arlington City Council and Arlington Mayor for the year of 2026. How exciting. And hello, Nikki Hunter. You are muted. If you will take the mute off your microphone for me.
Good morning. How are you doing?
We are doing great, Nikki. So without further ado, I know that you read the rules and you had everything sent to you. So I'm going to set your timer for 1 minute. And we will get started with your opening statement whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Well, I'm Nikki Hunter. I'm the current city council member. Been city council of District 3 for 5 years now. I originally ran because I wanted to serve our neighborhoods, wanted to make our neighborhoods a priority, and that's exactly what I've done the last 5 years. Want to talk a little bit about my civic leadership. So I have in the past served as Rotary president. I've served as Rotary area governor. I am currently on the board of directors at Medical City Arlington. I've served as YMCA on their chair. A lot of different positions. I've also worked in healthcare as well as served full time as a city council member. And I just want to say that I do want to continue to run to make sure that we are continuing to serve our districts and make it a priority.
Well, thank you, Nikki. You have a whole 11 seconds left if we need it at the end. So I am going to start a new timer for 5 minutes. And oh wait, we get to do the fun thing where we choose your questions. I know everyone watching is just so riveted by that piece of it all. Okay, so your question order is going to be 1, 3, 4, 2. Okie dokie. So with that said, I have this queued up, and your first question is number 1. Economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community as a whole?
Very good question. For me, while on city council, it's about smart economic development. I continue to support anything that's going to be smart for our long term here in the city of Arlington, whether especially if it affects District 3. But, I am, the voice of District 3, but also I'm the city council of all over Arlington. So we want development that's going to make sense for Arlington. We want to develop areas like, the Arlington Highland for District 3 or Lincoln Square for a bigger portion of Arlington on there. So smart economic development.
Thank you for that answer, Nikki. We are going to move to your next question, which is number 3. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people around solutions to work together?
It's about partnerships. It's about communication. I think that's one of my strong points. It's definitely since I've been on council, I've been able to have neighborhood meetings to make sure that we are keeping everyone in the loop. We do neighborhood meetings. I'm pretty much very heavy on social media, whether it's Nextdoor, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, you name it, I'm on there making sure we get the word out about what's going on in the city. So I think it's getting the communication, being able to communicate. I don't have office hours. I am available 24/7. I really mean that 24/7 for my constituents to make sure that I'm answering any questions that they may have about things that are going on, whether it's a council case that we have coming up, whether it's something going on in a district. It's just making yourself available.
Well, thank you for that answer, Nikki. We are going to move to your next question, which is number 4. City council must often balance competing priorities such as economic development, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
We face that as city council, and it's about making those hard decisions and those compromises. For me, it's about advocating for what we need. And as a city council for a single district, it's about advocating for the needs in your community. For us, it's infrastructure. So I have advocated to make sure we're getting our streets fixed. We've had some major roads over here fixed, but we've also had some neighborhood streets fixed. It's about being able to be that voice for the needs of your district. But with that, it comes with communicating. You have to be able to really communicate with your constituents. They're able to call me, text me at any point and let me know what's going on in their neighborhoods. Because at the end of the day, as a council member, you cannot be in every single neighborhood. You need the constituents to be able to reach out to you and let you know. And that's how you can serve as a strong leader, being able to do that.
Okay, Nikki, your last question is going to be number 2. Small businesses are a cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses, and what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Absolutely. Our small businesses are definitely one of the heartbeats of the city. And I've been able to really work with small businesses in District 3. A lot of it has been at the starting points because that's where a lot of small businesses face the issues is the starting process, whether it's, setting up the permits or just doing the hand holding process. So I think it's working with these small businesses to let them know this is available. You're the liaison with the city to get them connected to the right people to start up their businesses because it's stressful starting a business. Now, I don't own my own business, but I have worked with several small business owners. Another one is, and this is a simple one, is promoting them. I promote the small businesses here in District 3. A lot of times, I use my 15 minutes of fame being a city council member by promoting them. I've done podcasts. I have a podcast where I go and interview these people, but I also tell people on social media, shop local. I've done that from day one because at the end of the day, that's the bread and butter of supporting our small businesses is to encourage people to shop at our local coffee shops. We have 2 of them here in District 3. I make sure I promote them. So it's promotion and it's helping them get set up for these small businesses.
Well, Nikki, thank you so much for your answers. You do have about 1 minute remaining should you like to use it.
Yes. I just want to let everyone know it's been a pleasure serving on city council and definitely running for my final term. Want to continue to make our neighborhoods a priority here in District 3. Want to continue to get our streets fixed, continue to promote public safety. By the way, our crime rate is down by 12%. We're doing amazing with that. Want to continue to partner with our police and our fire department to make sure we are making our neighborhoods safe. And that's it. Thank you, Chamber, for having me on here.
Well, thank you so much, Nikki. We hope you have a lovely rest of your day. We appreciate you being here with us as well. So sending you back down to the attendees of this lovely candidate forum. Everyone, those were our 2 candidates that were running for District 3. We did have both of them present today. Again, Kelly Burke and Nikki Hunter. Next, we are moving to District 4. District 4, we have 3 candidates for District 4, and we are going to start off with Rojo, and I want to make sure that I see that they are here with us today. And I am not. If you are here with us, Rojo Mexicuero, if I'm getting that correctly, I apologize if not. If you are here, raise your hand. I'm looking for that last name, scrolling through. If not, we will go to our next candidate. Okay, I'm not seeing them. Going once and going twice. Okay, we will move to our next candidate, which is Lisa Ventura. So Lisa, we are coming to you. Let me find you. I know that you are here. So we are going to promote you up to panelist. Again, as a reminder to those of you that maybe just hopped on the webinar, we do not enable our panelists to test their microphone or video before they hop on. So it is a very organic process here. We want this to just be as welcoming as possible and make sure as many people can attend as possible. So Lisa, hello there, Lisa. Let's test your audio.
Hello.
Hello.
How's that?
Okay, Lisa. Well, thank you.
Testing.
Thank you for being with us today. So Lisa is running for City Council District 4. So Lisa, I am going to set your 1 minute timer for your opening statement. If you give me, there we go. And whenever you're ready, begin.
Well, my name is Lisa Ventura, and I'm your candidate for Arlington City Council in District 4. And I believe Arlington's success is based on a strong partnership between the City Hall and the business community. I have personally mentored youth for several years in Girl Scouts. In Girl Scouts, we teach girls the basics of business through cookie sales and leadership training through their awards. I mentor 4-H youth, teaching them the basics of entrepreneurship and leadership. And I want to say several of our youth have gone on to own their own businesses. One young lady opened a shop where she sold cake balls, and another young man opened his own welding shop. So my family and I have also owned several businesses, including a successful restaurant, a supper club, and a hamburger shack. We've owned a bookstore,
Lisa,
We
that is your
currently,
time. I am so
okay,
sorry on your opening statement, but we will move to your question and answer space. And if some of those details you wanted to share can be worked into questions, feel free to use your time that way.
okay.
Okay. Oh, but we get to do the fun thing. Okay. What order will your
Here's the
questions be
order.
in? It's mostly everyone, just so you know, so that you can't like script it necessarily. You would have to, you have to go find the answer. So for council, you are, backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you are
Perfect.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I've got my timer set, and your first question is number 4. So we will start with City Council must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
Well, for me, it goes back to public safety, and it has gone down. The crime has gone down, but you can't have walkable neighborhoods if they're not safe to walk, and you can't have businesses if they're not going to open because the crime is too high. Employees want to be safe. Customers want to be safe. Customers want to feel comfortable visiting your store or your restaurant. And business owners want to know their property will be protected. If not, what happens is families move away and businesses won't invest here. We lose property values and community weakens.
Okay, so thank you so much for that answer. We are going to move to your next question, question number 3. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people around solutions?
Well, it starts with a shared goal. Most of the time, we want the same goal or same results. We just have a differing way of how to get there. One may want more housing, another one wants the streets fixed. Well, let's look at maybe fixing the streets and then doing the building. Looking at what has worked in other cities, what has the long-term costs going to be, and what does the data show? I'm all about information, but leadership is when we have disagreements, we need to turn that into progress.
Thank you so much for that answer. Okay, we are going to move to your next question, which is question number 2. Small businesses are the cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses, and what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Well, businesses will go where they're welcome. Businesses will go where they are able to get through the process easily. I want to be the city where we make Arlington a great place to live and do business. Small businesses will bring their families and they'll want to live where they have their business. As a small business owner myself, I know the risks that entrepreneurs take every day. They're the ones investing their life savings, and the last thing they need is unnecessary obstacles. So our role is to make the city safe, number one. No one wants to move into a place where their business is going to be at risk. And businesses need predictability. They want to be able to get their permits. They want to be able to know when they're going to get their permits. And small businesses are the backbone of Arlington.
Thank you so much for that answer, Lisa. We are going to move to your last question here, which is number 1. Economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community as a whole?
Well, I'd like to see us encouraging redevelopment of the aging areas. There are many commercial areas that could use some support the projects that strengthen our tax base, first of all, and that'll bring everyone else's taxes down and bring new opportunities to the community. So a lot of times big businesses will get all of the attention in the economy, but we need to remember that small and medium businesses actually are the foundation that allows large companies to succeed. It's a relationship. It works like an ecosystem. Each part supports the other. I want to support policies that incentivize small and medium businesses as much as large businesses. And you got to remember, small businesses tend to spend their money here, bring their families here, and live here. And they're going to spend their money locally as well. Our role in government is to clear that way, clear that path so that they have a successful time.
Okay, Lisa, you have 45 seconds left. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, let's see. I want to say that Arlington's future probably depends on strong partnerships with businesses. City Hall and business need to work together. People want to live here and build their life. And I want to make Arlington that city.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Lisa. We very much appreciate it. Again, Lisa is running for District 4, and we appreciate you. I'm going to send you back down to the attendee pool. Have a lovely day. Okay, everyone, we are going to continue with District 4. Our next candidate is Tom Ware. And Tom, I see you right there, so let me get you promoted up to panelist. Again, while Tom is promoting up, this is the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum for Arlington City Council and Mayor. We do not let people test their audio or video ahead of time. This is very organic, so we always hope for the best. So as Tom gets acclimated here, we'll make sure everything is working before we get started. Tom is one of the 3 candidates running for District 4. Tom, I need you to turn your video on, please, and your audio. You have to unmute yourself, though. Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Hello, good morning, Tom. Okay.
Good morning.
Before we get started, let's go ahead and pick your... Oh, wait, I'll do that at the end. We'll let you do your opening statement first. Okay, Tom, so whenever you're ready, I've got a lovely timer set to 1 minute, and you can begin.
Okay, why am I running? I'm retired, I'm healthy, planning to be around a long time, and I want to continue to give back to my city. I've done a lot of volunteer work in Arlington. I've been past president of the Optimist Club of Arlington and the Rotary Club of Arlington. I'm currently on the board of directors for both of those organizations' charities. I was also on the board of the National Craft and Hobby Association for 6 years and the Mr. Handyman Franchise Advisory Council and President's Circle during the time I was a franchisee with them. In my 5 years as P&Z Commissioner, I've learned a lot more about Arlington and how it works. I absolutely believe my proven leadership, city experience will be a plus on the city council. I have endorsements from over 100 city leaders that believe in my ability to do the job. So let's build a future of Arlington.
Well, thank you. You timed that one right down to the minute, literally. Okay, so let us pick your question order, Tom. Okay. Tom will receive his questions in the order of 2, 1, 4, 3, everyone. I know you're riveted by my continued stance on the randomness. Okay, so I'm setting my timer for 5 minutes, and we are going to start with your first question, Tom, which is number 2. Small businesses are the cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses, and what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Since you're seeing city and not limiting my answer to the chamber support, I'd say the city should make it easy to do business with the city authorities. Inspections done by city departments should be followed up by the original inspector until the process is completed. I've heard many stories of different inspectors showing up, requiring added things, or even countering a previous inspector's comments. The permitting process should be as streamlined as we possibly can. We should provide access to resources and training through our Chamber of Commerce and possible collaboration with UTA. We need to foster an environment where entrepreneurs can thrive. For success, effective partnership with the business community means open and constant communication through creation of programs that encourage entrepreneurship, innovation, and growth of our business owners. We can build an environment we need to attract businesses to our city and keep our UTA grads here working.
Well, thank you for that answer, Tom. Let's go ahead and move to your next question, which is number 1. Okay. Economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening our community as a whole?
When I read this question, it's really too vague for me. I can only respond that I'd take each proposed policy one by one and evaluate it separately. Now, if the question was asking what policies are needed, and we need policies on redevelopment of aging buildings, apartments, and homes to build a higher quality of living. We need policies on maintaining and improving efforts for small businesses by creating commerce-friendly atmosphere to encourage entrepreneurs to open in Arlington. We need economic development funding for policies for multiple small business, not more all the eggs in our one basket deal like we've got with eSpace. We need those, but we don't need a bunch of them. We need policies that raise the average student, average resident annual income, or we're destined to become a warehouse distribution community. We don't want to just emphasize that area of business.
Well, thank you for that answer, Tom. We will move to your next question, which is number 4. So, City Council often balances competing priorities such as economic development, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
First, prioritize. If public safety is involved, it always comes first. The others can shift around. Infrastructure can be the most permanent and must be considered. It's not so important in a tent city, but it'll be highly important when Arlington builds a new fire training facility in the future. We want economic growth in most all things we do, but with government facilities like the Active Center, that most likely will never have revenues exceeding expenses. The term economic growth may mean limiting annual expenses with a higher quality build initially. Neighborhood needs can depend on the project for definition, and many times are more desires than they are needs. Okay. What does the neighborhood expect, and how do we succeed? Match or step build to please the constituents? We need to be proactive rather than reactive to save our limited funds. But no matter how we approach project, prioritization is the key.
Thank you so much for that answer, Tom. I'm sorry I stepped on your reply. Okay, moving to your last question, you have 40 seconds, which is many city issues involve differing perspectives among city council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people together around a solution?
Using previous experience as volunteer on boards and committees, I find it best to do a lot of listening as the process develops. It's impossible to build consensus-aligned people until you have reasonable knowledge of their stances, priorities, motivations, and concerns. One-on-one meetings as well as group sessions will help stakeholders realize they are all part of the process. During discussions, I'd make sure everyone knows they are being heard. Acknowledge good points, thank the person, try to spread praise around. And if you mention something out of one-on-one meetings,
I am so sorry, Tom. That is your time. But we very much appreciate you being here with us today. Thank you again. Tom is running for City Council District 4. We hope you have a lovely rest of your day, Tom. And
you also. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, everyone, we are going to move to City Council District 5. District 5. Rojo, I see you have raised your hand. You were not here when we called your name. If there is time at the end of the forum, we can evaluate if you can go, but we go in alphabetical order by last name. So we are moving to City Council District 5. District 5. Rebecca Boxhall, there are 2 candidates. Rebecca is first alphabetically. So Rebecca, let me find you and pull you into the panelist role. Give me 1 second. I got to scroll to the R's. Thank you so much. There are 2 candidates running for City Council District 5. Again, this is the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce City Council and Mayor webinar for the City of Arlington. Candidate forum, not webinar. We are excited that you're here with us today. Again, as a reminder, this is very organic. We don't let them test their audio or video. Rebecca, how are you this morning?
Hi.
We have your audio. Perfect. Okay, Rebecca, with that said, I'm going to set this fantastic timer to 1 whole minute, and we will get started with your opening statement whenever you're ready.
Okay, first off, I've served on numerous boards and commissions. I've including long range and comprehensive plans, downtown master plan. I also served on the UTA master plan. UTA is in the center of District 5, so that was important that I be a part of that. On the neighborhood side, I'm a longtime member of HANA, Heart of Arlington Neighborhood Association, and the past president. So I worked on the original neighborhood action plan, which became the model for other neighborhoods, and again later revising it. And I also served on the American Institute of Architects Transportation Committee, working on light rail master planning. So my background is in long-range facility master planning, and I'm accustomed to thinking in large, future-centered, long-term sustainability sort of way. So one of the things that was most surprising to me when I was first elected in 2021 was the synergy between my professional life and my life experiences and being in city government.
I am so sorry, Rebecca, that is your 1 minute, but if you can work any of that commentary into your answers, you are absolutely welcome to. So
Okay.
I am going to draw your order of questions. Oh, I took 2. Okay, you have 2, 4, 1, 3. I know you're very excited. Whoop, and it fell off my computer. Okay, so with that said, I will set this timer to 5 minutes, but we will get started with question number 1, which is small businesses are the cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses? And what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Great question. I instigated a new zoning category. This is an example of what government can do. I added a new zoning category that never existed before called the Flex Hybrid Light Industrial category. This one district alone has incentivized small-scale industrial facilities which host many small businesses. And it has quickly become one of our most popular new development tools in creating environments for small business. I come from a small business background on both sides of my family, and I owned a small architectural practice. So I have an affinity for small business, and I know what kind of challenges they face, and I know this intimately, the ups and downs of running a small business. So this is kind of ingrained in me. An effective partnership is to having a city open to working with a wide variety of types and sizes of business and creating flexibility that they need to operate. Also, the city needs to recognize that big business depends on small business.
Thank you so much for that answer, Rebecca. Okay, we will move to your next question, which is number 4. City Council must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities at play, but limited resources?
Okay, balancing competing priorities is another thing I've done throughout my career. In any successful endeavor, there are trade-offs to be made and compromises. I have learned that obstacles make a project or a solution to a problem stronger and better than if there were no obstacles at all to begin with. So I'm not put off by competing priorities and limited resources or any other limitations, because more often than not, challenges turn into opportunities if you approach them with an open and a creative mind.
Oh, thank you so much for that answer, Rebecca. Okay, going to your next question, number 1, which is economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community as a whole?
Didn't I just answer that one? I think I did. Okay.
I can just go to the next one. Okay, so we'll go to number 3. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people together around a solution?
Okay, well, my entire career as an architect has been about collaboration. So that's something that I already have experience with. Building consensus is one of my strongest attributes. It takes time and patience and a willingness to compromise and a certain resoluteness that is really hard to describe. I guess it's a faith that things will work out and you will find consensus if you persevere. So after a while of doing this, you can sense when other people have those same qualities and you can work with them. One of the things I'm most proud of is how the present council works together so well. We don't always agree. In fact, we often start off with very divergent viewpoints on issues, but we've learned how to work with each other to get things done. So I've learned that good ideas can come from anywhere, and I'm ready, willing, and able to work with anyone.
Well, Rebecca, you have 1 minute left. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the group?
I'd just like to say that after working with zoning and building codes for years, it was clear to me that many of our codes were unnecessarily complex and cause unnecessary impediments to business creation and operation. So when I studied our UDC, I saw many opportunities to make them more business friendly. So that would be where I want to continue in my work as I go forward, because I still see a lot of things that could be changed to make businesses more successful.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Rebecca. We very much appreciate it. Again, Rebecca is running for Council District 5. Thank you so much. I'm going to send you back down to the attendee pool. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Brittany.
Okay, so we have 2 candidates, everyone, for City Council District 5. We've just heard from Rebecca. I am going to go find Britney Garcia Duma, who is the other candidate running, and promote her up to panelist. So while she gets her video and audio turned on, as a reminder, this is the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce. We're thrilled that you're with us today. I did realize I did not tell you who I am. I am Britton Merritt. I am VP of Marketing and Communications here at the Chamber. We are thrilled to all of you that are joining today. We are wrapping up. We have about 4 candidates left. So Brittany, thank you so much for joining us. Can we test your audio?
Hi, everybody.
Well, perfect. Thank you, Brittany. So Brittany, I am going to set a timer for 1 whole minute to get you started with your opening statement whenever you're ready.
Awesome. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to my home here in District 5. I'm Britney Garcia Duma, and I'm running to be your city council person here in District 5. I am born and raised here. I was a little rascal, Martin warrior, and a young eagle. I'm raising my children here, 3rd generation AISD students. I'm also a business owner. I own a marketing agency and a clothing store that is centered completely around Arlington and our mutual love for Arlington. The boards and commissions that I sit on have been such a blast. I've been the chair of the Latino Business Group at the Chamber. I'm on the Convention and Visitors Bureau board, and I also serve on the executive committee of Downtown Arlington Management Corporation, as well as the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Tarrant County event committee.
Well, Brittany, that leaves you a whole 10 seconds left at the end, should you like to use it, and we appreciate you. So let me get a new timer set up for 5 minutes, and then, of course, just the fun reveal of what order your questions will be in. Okay, so we have in line for you 2431. 2431, everybody. So let us get started. Okay, so question 2, Brittany, is small businesses are the cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses? And what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
As a small business owner, this issue is near and dear to my heart. Absolutely, the city must play a role in promoting and encouraging small local business. I think some key ways that we can do that are taking a look at our city code that makes it difficult for our small business owners and our small businesses to conduct business. I've talked to the small businesses specifically in downtown. They have issues around parking, wanting to get short-term parking spaces developed for that growing need that we have in downtown, but our code won't allow it. So taking a look at that and updating that to 2026, that code also prohibits a lot of small events. And we see that when we have huge things like FIFA and the World Cup coming. We need to tweak those and take a look at those for 2026. I'm also talking to the small businesses down what we know as the International Corridor, which is TERS 7. And as a marketing strategist, talking to them about how do we continue to promote you? How do we continue to help these businesses to thrive?
Well, thank you for that answer, Brittany. We are going to move now to question number 4, which is City Council must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions that have multiple different important priorities, but limited resources?
Yes. So again, as a small business owner, I know when those resources are limited, I know how to make a dollar out of 15 cents. And so, but what it really takes is looking at the city from a resident's first perspective. That is my priority as somebody born and raised here. I do want to return our city to a city that where our residents come first. I believe that great places to visit or great places to live are great places to visit and not the other way around. And I believe that that aids into why fiscal responsibility is such a big deal. When we are more fiscally responsible, when we have a more black and white budget, we do that because it is our duty to make that budget last for our businesses, for our residents, and for the future of our city. We have to do those black and white things well so that we can continue to have a thriving community.
Well, thank you for that answer, Brittany. We are going to go next to question number 3. Ooh, number 3. Okay. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus, aligning people together around solutions?
Yes, so I have a lot of experience in this and sitting on these boards. Some of the boards, I think the CVB board is 30 people with 30 different businesses and 30 different perspectives and 30 different things that are important to them. And what I believe is that all of us have more commonalities than we do differences. There are things that we can all mutually agree on, and it's our job and our duty to find them. I think that we have our high goal of what we really, really want to accomplish. I have my high goals of what I want to accomplish for District 5, but then also knowing that I have other council members on that dais that have to agree in that, knowing that we have this high goal, but we're also willing to land here, something that is going to be helpful to the residents, helpful to the city, knowing what that margin is between, okay, what's the pie in the sky, but then also what's actually going to give residents a clear and prosperous future and making sure we at least hit within that mark.
Well, thank you for that answer. And now for your last question, which is number 1. Economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community as a whole?
Yes, so we do have a lot of property taxes that are about to go into a freeze. And so acknowledging that and knowing, okay, we've got to bring money into the city. And there's 2 main ways that we're going to do that. One, that's going to be bringing more commercial online. And what that looks like is we have to go and find that. We can no longer wait and see if people choose Arlington. We have to go and find this large commercial with these high paying jobs that are going to move to Arlington, going to give people a reason to want to come and live here and work here. And then in conjunction with that, we have to continue to have more residents move here and retain the residents we have. So 13%, only 13% of UTA students remain in Arlington once they graduate. That number must increase. We must give our students this large economic boom here in District 5 a reason to stay. And I believe that that's preservation overlays for our aging homes. That's multifamily in our urban core and specific places, and then increasing things like walkability and mobility downtown.
Okay, Britney, that is your time. Thank you so, so much for joining us today. Again, Britney Garcia Duma is running for City Council District 5. Thank you, Britney, sending you back into the attendee pool. I hope you have an amazing day.
You too.
Okay, everyone, we are moving into our last council district. We are moving into District 8. We have 3 candidates on the ballot in District 8. Our first one alphabetically is Melody Fowler. So I'm going to go find Melody on this lovely list of people. Thank you again to everyone joining us today. We really appreciate you. Melody, I am not seeing you on this call, but I know she has been on this call the whole time, so I'm wondering if she had an internet issue. Melody, would you by chance be logged in under Larry? Larry is raising his hand, and I did see 3 versions of Larry, so hold on. Larry, I'm going to assume that I am promoting you, and we are going to try that. So thank you, Larry, for raising your hand and letting us know. Let's see if this is what brings everybody, if this is the right person. So Melody Fowler, and we will get that name changed when they come through as the panelist. Larry, you declined my promotion. I am not sure. Okay, Melody and Larry. I am going to try one more time. More promote. Let's see. We appreciate everyone's patience. Again, we know that this is a very organic way to do the format, but it allows as many people to participate as possible and allows us to record it and put it online for other people to watch later in the day. I am trying my best, and it was declined again. There must be an internet issue because there's 2 Larry Fowlers and then 1 Larry Fowler multiple times in a row, everyone. I am so sorry. I am not sure what's going on. So, but you are present and we are having an issue. So we will see, we will move to the next candidate, but because you are here and I see you trying to communicate with me, Larry, will you go ahead, or Melody, you have my phone number, please text me and we will see why there is an issue, what's going on with your internet. And we are going to go ahead and go to our next candidate though, and we'll hope that this gets fixed because we are seeing you actively trying to make this happen. Okay, so we are then going to go to Corey Harris while we are waiting for whatever internet issue we are having or Zoom issue. So I am going to go to Corey, and Corey is not on here either. Okay, well, the plot thickens, everyone, and I hear Larry and Melody on the phone with somebody on our staff. So I am hoping that we see, because we are literally at our time, so we do need to keep going. Oh, Larry, I see you. Okay, I am going to see if this one works. We are going to try and see if we can get this work. And Corey, I do not see you. I apologize. I did not know this about Zoom, guys. If you raise your hand, it moves you to the very top. So that is a learning curve for me. My apologies. Keeping this, as great as we can. Okay, so Melody, I'm going to change your name so that everyone knows you are Melody. And I appreciate your patience and working with me on this. Like I've told everyone before, that this is a very organic process. Learning curve. And we are going to put Melody Fowler in here so everyone knows that you are Melody Fowler. And with that said, Melody, I'm going to set up your opening statement timer. You will have 1 minute. And hello, by the way, welcome. We appreciate you. And we'll get started whenever you're ready.
Good morning. I'm Melody Fowler, and I'm running for City Council District 8 at large. I currently serve on the Arlington ISD Board of Trustees. I've been elected 3 times, and I'm now in my 8th year of serving. While serving on the Board of Trustees, I've served on the Audit and Finance Committees, the Governance Committee, and the Community Relations Committee. I currently serve on the Board for Arlington Charities, AISD Education Foundation, the Mayor's Education Coalition as co-chair, Nehemiah Builds Foundation, and I'm a member of the Arlington Rotary Club. The reason I'm running is because the terming out of Barbara Odom Wesley and Andrew Peel. The City Council is losing many years of experience, and I have the necessary experience to start working on day one, and I am ready to serve the City of Arlington. My key priorities are to make sure that we keep funding our police and fire to keep our city safe, to keep our taxes low, and to make good use of the available property in our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Melody. Right on time. You had that perfectly timed. Okay, so I'm going to move to your questions. Let's find out what order you're going to be in. Okie dokie. And next we have you are 3124 3124. Okay. So I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes and we will get started. So 5 minutes. And your first question is number 3, Melody. Okay. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people around a solution?
City councils often consist of members from different priorities, viewpoints, and constituents, so consensus building is the most important skill for effective governance. Consensus starts with listening. A council member must meet individually with council members and ask questions about their priorities and concerns. We need to understand the needs of the districts that they represent. While some council members serve the entire district like an at-large position, other council members represent certain districts. Regardless, all council members represent the whole city of Arlington and serve all citizens. City councils work best when members focus on shared goals rather than differences. I have a great relationship with the current council members, which I believe will allow me to build consensus. When I served as president of the Arlington ISD Board of Trustees, I prided myself on being a consensus builder. I listened to my fellow trustees and I sought to understand their positions. As a city council member, I will listen to my colleagues, analyze data, and seek community input to guide any decisions that I make.
Thank you for that answer, Melody. We are going to move to your next question, which is number 1. Okay, we have economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community as a whole?
Thank you. The city of Arlington needs to continue to build strong foundations and encourage people to relocate here. People and businesses won't come here unless they feel safe. We must keep supporting our fire and police to create safe environments where people will come and people will stay. Once people are here, we need policies that grow the local economy and strengthen the community. The city must support local investments. Over 80% of our businesses in Arlington are small businesses, and I love the Chamber's phrase, keep it local. The city needs to encourage local events that bring the community together, such as the Levitt Pavilion and First Thursday Market. These events encourage people to support the community and to spend money locally. As a city, we must encourage organizations like the Economic Development Corporation and Downtown Arlington that put money into local property and businesses and have policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community.
Thank you for your answer, Melody. We are going to move to your next question, number 2. Small businesses are the cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses? And what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Well, 80 to 85% of businesses in Arlington are small businesses. And I believe that the small businesses are the backbone of our economy here in Arlington. We need to keep an environment that allows all businesses to thrive. We need to keep taxes low so people can make money and invest it back in their businesses. Dealing with the city needs to be a good experience. When citizens come to City Hall and need something like a permit or just any kind of information, it is our job to help them succeed. The faster they can get a permit, the faster they can get open, and the faster they can start making money, and earning an income. The planning department desk is the very first contact that many people deal with in the city. When citizens need to come in, they need to leave satisfied. We need to do a good job of providing information to our citizens, but we need to make sure that our businesses also know about all the programs that we have here in Arlington that are available to them. An effective partnership means there is a flow of information between citizens and the city government. We need to remove barriers if we want to grow our small businesses.
Okay, Melody, going into your last question, you have about 40 seconds. So you have number 4, which is City Council must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
First and foremost, we need to make sure that our citizens are safe. The police and fire are the largest part of our budget, but it needs to stay that way. Secondly, we must take care of our infrastructure, our roads, electricity, water, and sewage. Thirdly, we need to look at economic growth and our neighborhood needs. The city needs to include citizens in all decisions. The government and the citizens need to work together, seeing what money is available and how we should spend it. Budget decisions should always have citizens from all parts of the city involved. East Arlington may not have the same needs as North Arlington.
Thank you so much, Melody, for your answer. That is your time. We are very thankful you were here for us today. Again, I apologize for the kerfuffle within Zoom, but thank you for being here. We very much appreciate you and have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, we are going to move now to our next candidate. And Corey, I do know you're here. Thank you for your patience as well. I did learn my lesson that if you raise your hand, you move to the very top of the list. So Corey, we are going to get you promoted to panelist. Again, there are 3 candidates for District 8. Corey is our second candidate who is on the ballot. I did forget to mention that District 8 is an at-large district, so they represent the whole city of Arlington, not just a specific geographically bound area of our city. So Corey, without further ado, I'm going to set this timer to 1 whole minute, and you may give your opening statement when you're ready.
Great. Thank you, Britton, and thank you, Arlington Chamber of Commerce. I am Corey Harris, and I am running for Arlington City Council, place number 8. So my profession is in real estate. I've been licensed since 2010, broker licensed since 2022. I'm the immediate past president of the Arlington Board of Realtors. I've served the Texas Realtors Board of Directors, the National Association of Realtors Board of Directors, many committees, both statewide and nationally, not the least of which was the Federal Commercial Policy Committee for the National Association of Realtors. I mention all of that because one of the most pressing issues in the city is how we are approaching development and what are we going to be building in the next 5 to 10 years that's going to impact our community for the next 40 to 50 years. I believe we need somebody on the city council who has a unique perspective of real estate development and how it interacts with our residential community and how it interacts with property values, so that as we build these things, we can make sure we're not only protecting neighborhoods, but we're building things that are going to protect our economic development in the future.
Thank you for that wonderful opening statement. You had 7 seconds to carry over should you need it in the next portion. Okay, so let's draw your questions, Corey. Okay, we have in here, you have questions number 4123. 4123. For all of our attendees sticking it out with us, we know we are over time. We appreciate you. We will continue to finish this forum, but if you do need to leave, the entire thing will be recorded and available online. So, Corey, without further ado, I am going to read you your first question, number 4, which is, City Council must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
Absolutely. And that's the name of the game, isn't it? When you're in a policymaking position or a government position, it's always about balancing because you always have more issues usually than you have resources for. That's when collaborating with colleagues, taking the information from professionals who are in the trenches and know what's going on, putting all of that data to bear, and then collaborating. There's 9 voices in a council room, and they're all going to be coming from different perspectives, whether they're single member districts or at-large perspectives. So categorizing those in a list of priorities, a lot of times is going to be a bit of a give and a take as we analyze the data and communicate with our constituents and staff members.
Thank you for that answer, Corey. We are going to move to your next question, number 1. Economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening the community as a whole?
That's great. Part of it is understanding where the growth in the economy comes from. And it really comes from the stakeholders in the community, the owners, right? So if we want to be able to develop economically and bring in better opportunities, we have to understand that we need to have the economic base to support it. So Arlington's only a 55% owner-occupied community as opposed to somebody like Southlake, who's a 95% owner-occupied community. This is a huge disparagence when we're looking at what kind of developments, what kind of retailers are going to come here. They need to know that the home base can support them because they're not going to bet on other people's money. Though we love other people's money, the metrics need to be able to support any development or any retailer that we can take care of their business here at home. So we need to focus on raising that base by encouraging more ownership opportunities and diversity of ownership housing.
Thank you for that answer, Corey. We are going to move to your next question, number 2. Small businesses are the cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses? And what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Excellent. So as a governing body, you want to make sure you understand where your small business community is coming from, and you want to make sure they are aware of the city's strategic plan and how the city is pursuing other opportunities and developments. So that as we bring in other retailers or businesses, we are bringing in businesses that will help support the other businesses and not be in direct competition. Right. So we want to make sure if we're courting big box retailers that they're not in too close of a proximity to a similar retailer who is small, locally owned, where they're going to lose their market share. And so having the small businesses be aware of the strategic plan and the city be aware of the small businesses' needs and wants, it allows us to move forward together as we promote other development opportunities. And the city has a part of a buy-in in that process. So it's really a give and a take.
Thank you for that answer, Corey. We are going to move to your last question, which is number 3, and you have about a minute and a half. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among city council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people around solutions together?
Right. Well, I love differing of opinions, right? My formal education is in philosophy, so I love listening to another argument and truly understanding where somebody else is coming from. That's, again, the name of the game. That's representative government. That's having ideas from different walks of life and different perspectives, and then coming together to collaborate and come to a consensus that we can all be comfortable with, right? There's an old adage in politics that if you do it correctly, nobody should feel great, but everybody should feel okay, right? So as we come together and we share our perspectives, we should be able to come up with a cohesive plan moving forward that everybody can be proud of and that we can all as council members go out into the community and champion for. So it's about listening. It's about understanding that you may have to back off of your position and make way for somebody else who maybe has more information or a better perspective of the situation.
Okay, Corey, you have 30 seconds left. If there's anything else you'd like to say.
Well, I just want to say, I'm an Arlington kid. We moved here. I went to Shackelford, Lamar, graduated from UTA, and I started my business here, raised my family here. I've been Lions Club president, Rotary president, Mason president, every other dang thing in this town because I love it and I want to work for it. And I want to see Arlington build better in the future so we have something that our kids can enjoy.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate you, Corey, and we hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Now that the anxiety from this is probably over, so I'm going to send you back to the attendee.
Favorite part of my day.
And that's for everyone that we've had. This has been truly wonderful to have so many of the candidates join us this morning. Okay, so we are moving to our last candidate for District 8, Jason Shelton. And then Rojo, if you are still here, we will do you at the very end since you did sign on. It's just we are over time. So for those that needed to leave, we understand. Okay, so I am finding Dr. Jason Shelton, who raised his hand. Okay, Jason, let's get him moved over. And again, there are 3 candidates for City Council District 8. It is an at-large district. Jason is our 3rd candidate we're going to hear from today. We have 4 districts on the ballot, along with the mayoral election. So, Jason, good morning. Let's test your audio.
Hey, can you hear me this morning?
We have got you, Jason. So I am going to set a lovely 1-minute timer for you to begin your opening statement whenever you'd like.
Hey, good morning, Britton, and good morning to the Chamber. Thank you all for hosting this today. I'm a sociology professor at UT Arlington. I have also chaired the Arlington Unity Council. I did so for 5 years. and served on various boards as well as other organizations here in Arlington, as well as across the United States and other academic organizations. I'm running for office because I absolutely love Arlington, Texas. My wife, Sarah, and I have lived here for 18 years. We have established our family here, and we have been welcomed in ways that make us only want to continue to give back to our city. I also have experience leading in our city, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Lastly, I want to tell y'all that Arlington is now one of the 50 largest cities in the United States of America. We have big city issues that need to be addressed. If I am elected to office, my priorities will include things like transportation, housing and homelessness, and of course, public safety.
Thank you for that lovely opening statement. Right on time. Y'all timed these, man. Good for you. Okay, we have our questions. There's only 2 left in here. Your order is going to be Dr. Jason Shelton. You have 1, 4, 3, 2. 1, 4, 3, 2. Okay, so let me get my 5-minute timer ready to go. And we are rocking and rolling. Jason, your first question. Economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As City Council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while also strengthening our community as a whole?
Great question. The strength of our local economy directly impacts the strength of our community as a whole. When our local economy is strong, it provides more opportunities to more people. And I am a firm believer that making it to the middle class is what strengthens our community as a whole. Back in Ohio, my family owns one of the oldest Black-owned businesses in the state of Ohio. It's called J.T. Bailey and Company, and my grandfather established it after returning home from World War II. Bailey and Company supported our family and me for 3 generations. I worked in the business as a child all the way through my graduate school years, and yes, they still put me to work even now when I come home for the weekend. The point that I'm trying to tell you is that I understand the blood, sweat, and tears of small business. I know what it takes to build a family business. My grandparents didn't take a vacation for 30 years. They taught us the importance of customer service. They taught us the importance of taking care of your needs rather than your wants. I understand that small business opens doors to the American dream. If I am elected to City Council, I will support policies that help to move our city forward in very important ways. I've said it before, I think 2 gaps that we have are high-end retail in the entertainment district, but we also need to be very purposeful about public and private partnerships in East Arlington. That's what I'll answer right there. Next question.
Okay, Jason, look at him go. Okay, our next question is number 4. City Council must often balance competing priorities such as economic growth, infrastructure, public safety, and neighborhood needs. How would you approach making decisions when there are multiple important priorities but limited resources?
I always ask myself in this process, what is our most pressing need? In a lot of ways, this goes back to my family business. It's the teaching of what is most important, our needs versus our wants. But sometimes this process is not very simple. That's when you have to study things. You got to get your hands on data. You've got to talk to experts. You've got to talk to the community as a whole. You've got to understand historical issues. That's when you have a fuller understanding of prioritizing what our problems are. Understand the consequences of this decision in the long term and in the future versus what is good for us now. That's the process that I would embrace and that I always have embraced in a leadership position.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, moving to your next question, number 3. Many city issues involve differing perspectives among city council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people together around a solution?
Great question, Britton. No one person on our city council can establish policies by her or himself. All of us have ideas about what we would like to accomplish, but we cannot do so unless we can convince at least 4 other people to come along with us. Over the years, when I chaired the Unity Council, there was more than 50 people that I served with along the way, and we represented a wide range of walks in life. I am proud to say that each and every member of the Unity Council signed off on our final reports that we submitted to Mayor and City Council. If I have the honor and privilege of serving as a member of City Council, I'm going to ask my colleagues the same question that I asked my members of the Unity Council. What can you live with and what can't you live without? I would never ask anyone to fall on a sword or sacrifice their values, but there is often more room for compromise than we realize. We do this every day with our family and friends, and I have chaired a committee where we found that middle ground to move forward. I am very confident as a bridge builder and as someone who builds great relationships that I can not only work with current members of City Council, but new folks that may be elected as well.
Thank you, Jason. We're going to move to your last question. You have about 1 minute, which is number 2. Small businesses are a cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local business, and what effective partnership with the business community? What does effective partnership look like to you?
In my opinion, effective partnership between our city leadership and the business community is achieved when most people believe that Arlington is a business-friendly environment. City Council helps to create a business-friendly environment through financial incentives, streamlined permitting, and infrastructure developments. We need to enhance our city's transportation so that more and more people can get to our small businesses that are across the city. We also need to attract new businesses, prioritize local businesses when it comes to contracts, and continue to work with the EDC. My wife and I want to tell you a quick story. My wife and I are in the process of putting up a metal pergola in our backyard. It's metal. We have been at the city hall. We have been down with all of these people and said, there's so many problems to build this bad boy. My builder is telling me there's so many problems. The problem is that we've got to make it easier. Yes, it's going to work out in the end. But the problem is that there are too many regulations. There are too many people in the same office that are saying the same thing, and it doesn't make sense. Thank you very much, Britton.
Thank you for your time. You hit right on that timer, Jason. We appreciate you being here. Again, Jason is on the ballot for City Council District 8. Have a lovely day. I'm going to send you back down to the attendee pool. Okay, so Rojo did log in a bit later, and if you are willing to stay on, we will go ahead and go back to them. They are running for City Council District 4. So Rojo, if you are still here, we will get you. Well, they raised their hand. Okay, so promote to panelist. Again, we're going back to City Council District 4. This Rojo was not present at the time, but has been logged in since. So Rojo, you have 1 minute for your opening statement. Welcome to being here. Whenever you are ready, please talk.
Thank you so much, Ruth. Good morning, residents. Buenos días a todos. My name is Rojo Meijueiro. I'm going to be your Arlington City Council member for the District 4, which is I-30 to I-20 within and a little parts underneath. It goes from the west side to the Parks Mall, or as I like to sometimes describe it in the community, from Matlock to the left. I am running for a simple reason, because I believe in Arlington's promise. I believe that is a promise that if you work hard, if you play by the rules, if you serve and give back to your community, you can too build generational wealth for you and your family. Ultimately, I came to the city a few years ago to become a student at UTA. And what I saw was profound. It was truly a city that became not just a rail stop between folks going west, but it became a destination for me. I show up to council consistently, and I often share with folks. I want a city not just to go through, but to go to. We are the destination, Arlington. In fact, I would even make the argument now that folks are bringing up to me often that it shouldn't no longer just be DFW, it should be DAFW. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Rojo. That is your opening statement. We are going to move to the question and answer section. So your order is the last one in the bottom of this coffee mug. And you have 3214. So 3214. So we're gonna get this timer set and get rolling. So your first question is many city issues involve differing perspectives among city council members, city staff, businesses, and residents. How would you approach building consensus and aligning people together around solutions?
Thank you for the question. First and foremost, I tell people that the job I decided to start as a student, to be able to then have the time to go to school and afterwards, was community organizing. This started with me during the census, because I knew back then, and I know now, that when we count people, it counts for us too. They give us back. They give us their, not only their efforts, but really also it's money for our communities and our schools. As a community organizer in the north of Texas for the last 12 years at this point, I have really been in these tables where you continue to bring people. I've been a translator for folks where there is a different language that they speak. But most importantly, I have been a translator for generations now. where we're able to understand the problems happening today, not the ones that happened yesterday. And most importantly, start considering what are the things that we want to achieve, the objectives that we are approaching, and the key results that we'll have. First, I would say not just listening to the community, but going to where the community is, the places they worship, the places they work at. As somebody who takes a lot of pride in being a food service worker, I have often been the one that sets the table, but I never get to have a seat at the table. It is time we put working people at the table to make sure that the decisions include all of us and look at things and nuance that often is not seen by us because we're so occupied sometimes in the worlds that we live in. But the second one will be using the data as a guiding principle. As a student of environmental science and public policy, I realize how we have so much data in this community that we must continue to take advantage to make more better equipped decisions.
Thank you for your answer. We're going to move to your next question, number 2. Small businesses are the cornerstone of Arlington's economy and neighborhoods. What role should the city play in supporting small and local businesses? And what does effective partnership with the business community look like to you?
Thank you. I would say that for me, understanding about our local Arlington economy didn't come from a textbook, actually. It actually came from being the worker. It came from showing up on time and picking up the tab or really opening and setting things up. I tell folks I took a lot of pride in the fact that one of my first jobs was down at Babes. Being able to be also Whole Foods and all these other places truly teaches me the interconnectivity that our workers need. I firmly believe that Arlington must be a city that if you work here, if you're a first responder here, if you're somebody that is willing to serve, you should also be somebody that is willing or that is able to afford to live in that American dream city. I say that to say that I've spoken with small business owners from across the city, but most importantly from District 4. It is like hypnotic wings down in Park Row who decided to retire after 20 years working in the oil and gas industry and then move to this city with their partner and start their own business. That's an example of somebody that chooses us to start their business, and we must make it better because they continue to tell me, permitting takes too long, startup costs are too high, and it is hard enough to keep this going sustainably and for us to expand. I can make the promise that I will listen, but I will then find the solutions. It has been simple. I see a problem, and I fix the problem. Then, an example for a success would be my friend Gilberto, representing Sam Houston proudly. We have here a young local entrepreneur who makes it on the 40 under 40, and most importantly, it's in the direction to open its 4th store. Hopefully, we can continue convincing him to open it in District 4. We're very proud to have his 3rd location for his taco shop on Bowen. If you want to check it out, so all that to say that I believe that we have examples right here at home, and we need to start taking pride in that. And for me, that means not only a small business that starts in Arlington, it is also a small business that provides jobs to the Arlington residents.
Thank you. You have a less than 1 minute to answer your next question. So number 1, economic development is essential to Arlington's long-term prosperity. As a city council member, how would you support policies that grow the local economy while strengthening our community as a whole?
Thank you. Ultimately, you all heard the data. It was shared just recently by Britney in regards to folks from UTA and TCC graduating and choosing not to stay here, not because they don't want the city, they don't like the city, but instead it's because they're lacking access to jobs in this city. It is important that we continue to work in developing our strong arms with UTA and with TCC, but beyond that, we need to provide excellent services for an excellent city. We have global stages. And just like you, residents, I get to sit behind the train and experience a train that continues to get me 5 minutes late to my class, 5 minutes late to my doctor's appointment. Our life doesn't end because the train goes through. And it is important for us to understand that we can make the life of our residents better by simply tweaking certain things. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here with us today, Rojo. We are going to move you to the attendee pool. Thank you to everyone who joined us today for our City Council and Arlington Mayor Candidate Forum. Michael, you could just sit right here. I'll slide this over. Michael did want to say a few words and just say hello to everyone, given the circumstance of me not being able to fix his camera. So here is Michael.
I just want to thank everybody that made a decision to run. I'm so proud of all of our candidates. When you make a decision to run, you're actually making a decision to sacrifice your own life for the betterment of others. And I hold that in such high regard. Arlington's future is critical, and hearing all of our candidates address what they see, steps that we need to make sure that we continue to be a city that creates a bright future. Thank you all for being, and I'll thank you all for engaging, participate. I appreciate you very, very much. Thanks.
Again, that is the amazing president and CEO here at the Greater Arlington Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Michael Jacobson. We are thankful to all of you that attended today. If you heard some things that you wanted to share with the public, you are welcome to. This will be posted on YouTube within the next 24 hours. Anyone that registered for this webinar, we will make sure to send you that link should you choose to revisit sections of this webinar and this candidate forum. As a reminder, Election Day is May 2nd. We highly encourage you to go out and vote. It is our American duty to vote. There are so many people that have fought and died to make sure that we have the right to have a voice in our democracy. So thank you again. We appreciate specifically all of our chamber members on the call today. Thank you for helping us ensure our mission of Together We Champion Economic and Community Prosperity. I hope everyone has a lovely Wednesday, and together we succeed. Thank you.